Hi guys, just finished getting everything worked out for the video, so let's go through a few of these problems. At the end of the video I have the answer key. Jensen Hutchins, if you see this, know that number 12, it turned out there was a typo in the worksheet that made it not match the answer key. So I have corrected the answer key to match the worksheet. So please go check the answer key for number 12. Okay, and if y'all know how to get a hold of Jensen, y'all might let her know that in case she doesn't watch the video tonight. Okay, let's go to our first problem that we're going to look at. We're going to look at problem number 1. Ooh, let me slow that down. Okay, so we have our first matrix, so matrix A times X equals matrix B. I can speed that up a little bit. First thing we had to do was find the determinant. So we did our little multiplication thing and we found 5 minus 4 was equal to 1. Okay, so we find the inverse by taking 1 over 1 and then multiplying it by a matrix where we flip A and D, excuse me. So 5 and 1 have flipped, and then we change the signs on C and B, so we have negative 2 and 2 for those. 1 times a matrix is itself. Is the matrix, so our inverse is 1, negative 2, negative 2, 5. I'm going to take my inverse, I'm going to multiply it by matrix A times X, and then we're going to multiply B also by the inverse. So, but because it's a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 1, I have to have the inverse in front of matrix B. Get that written out there. Alright, now the inverse A times A does give me my identity matrix times X, so that I end up with an answer of 1, 4, 3, 2. And remember that I acts as a 1, so we don't really have to have it there. So X is equal to 1, 4, 3, 2. Okay? On that problem, all you had to do was fill in the box. It already had everything worked out for you, so 1, 4, 3, 2 is the matrix that should go into that box. All right. Oops. Problem number 2. Okay, write in matrix A, 7, 5, 3, 2 times X is equal to matrix B, which is 13, 5. My determinant will be 14 minus 15, which is negative 1. Okay, so to find my inverse, we're going to have 1 over negative 1, and then do my flip-flop in matrix. So 7 goes down at the bottom, 2 goes to the top. Change my signs on my 3 and my 5. So I multiply everything by my negative 1. So I end up with an inverse of negative 2, 5, 3, negative 7. I take my inverse A, multiply it by matrix A, 5, 7, 3, 2, X equals, and then I'm going to multiply the inverse by my matrix B, 13, 5. Okay, again, from inverse A and A, I get the identity matrix. from the inverse and matrix B, I end up with -1, 4. So x is equal to -1, 4. Okay. Then we went to problem 3. Problem 3, we were taking the system of equations. It was a 2-equation system of equations, and we were going to identify our coefficient matrix, our variable matrix, and our constant matrix, and we are going to make that into a matrix equation. All right, matrix A is my coefficient my coefficient matrix. So I'm looking at my coefficients. I have 3, 1, 2, -4. Then my matrix X is my variables, which are X and Y. And then I have my matrix B, which is my constants, 9 and -8. So there is my matrix equation, identifying the coefficient matrix, identify the variable matrix, and identify the constant matrix. Okay. Problem number 8 we're going to look at. So this equation, or this is a 3-equation system, and we have to do some moving of our some of our terms. So we're going to look at that here in just a second. Get that written out. All right, for equation 1, we're going to move our b, so we're going to add it to both sides. I get a new equation, 2a plus b minus 2c equals -6. I'm going to move in the second equation, subtract my c to move that over, so I get 4a minus c is 10. In my third equation, I'm going to add the 5b to both sides. Okay, so that gives me 5b plus 3c equals 8. Okay, we will fill in those empty spots. Now, identifying my variables, my coefficients, excuse me. Okay, and I'm going to put that into a matrix A. So I have 2, 1, -2. I have 4, 0, -1, and 0, 5, 3 for matrix A. Then my variable matrix, matrix X, will be A, B, and C. And then my matrix B will be my constants, -6, 10, and 8. Identifying the coefficient matrix. My variable matrix. And my constant matrix. All right. Now, I think we went to number 9 next. Yeah, we went to number 9 next. Number 9, and on number 9 you will notice that on your paper, on your worksheet, when it breaks out the first numbers on the coefficient matrix, they had a misprint on that first matrix. On your paper it says 2, -1, 5, -9. That should be a 3. We see a 3x minus y equals 16. So that should be a 3, not a 2. So you might to go in and just correct that. It won't change the numbers on the rest of it, but that was a typo that Ty McCon caught for us. So that actually makes 2 typos that were on this worksheet. Yay, Pearson. All right, so now on to what we're doing. We identified our matrix for coefficients, variables, and our constants. Now we are finding the determinant of matrix A. Okay, so 3 times -9 was -27, minus 5 times -1, which was -5, gave us -27 plus 5, or -22. So as we are working to find our inverse for A, we have 1 over -22 times the matrix, our flip-flop matrix. So we're going to switch the 3 and the -9. And we're going to change the signs on B and C. So that will be 1 and -5. Okay. We're going to multiply the scalar by our terms inside the matrix, our elements. So -9 times -1 22nd gave me 9 over 22. Then I ended up with -1 over 22, 5 over 22, and -3 over 22. That's my inverse. So, and now I'm going to take the inverse matrix, multiply it by the matrix A. We have our variables x and y. And then I'm going to take the inverse and multiply it by B. Don't forget, if this is going too fast and you need to pause it, pause it. Okay. So, inverse times A gives me the identity matrix. Inverse A times B gives me 6 and 2. So x is equal to 6, y is equal to 2. Okay. I want to look at number, we did number 12 next, because this one had to do some moving around. All right, number 12. I'm glad we had done number 12. That was the one that we found the problem on the, what do you call this? On the answer key, because it did not fit what was on our sheet. That's how we found that typo. But we're going to go with what's on the sheet, and I just changed the answer key. All right, so number 12. Get our system of equations written out here. Okay, I'm going to rewrite things in the right order, so I move that 3a over. We ended up with -3a plus 2b is -14. Our second equation, we move the 4a over and we move the 2 over. So we end up with -4 equals 18. So, writing out our matrices, A is -3, 2, 4, 0. Our variables are A and B. Our matrix B is -14, -18. Okay. We're going to find our determinant. -3 times 0 is 0. -4 times 2 is 8. So we end up adding 8. So we get a determinant of 8. Slow that down. Our inverse, we have 1/8 for our scalar. Our flip-flop matrix becomes 0, -2, 4, -3. Multiply that out by the 1/8. And we end up with an inverse matrix of 0, -1/4, 1/8, not 1/8, 1/2, excuse me, and -3/8. Okay, so we will take our inverse matrix. If you want to use decimals, that's fine. That would be -0.25, 0.5, and -0.375. Multiply it by A. Multiply that by our variables. Then we will multiply our inverse by our matrix B. We end up inverse times A is our identity matrix. And we end up with 4.5, -0.25. So A is 4.5 and B is -0.25. So -1/4. Alrighty. Last one, we're going to do number 14. This is a three equation system with 3 variables. Okay. Almost done. Now we're going to rewrite our equations. Our first equation is in the proper order, so we can just get that written out. Our second equation, you can just take those and just switch the sides, and that's just fine. So A minus 2C equals 9. If you wanted to take and do the whole adding and subtracting from both sides, it comes out exactly the same. So it doesn't matter which way you want to do that. Then in equation 3, we saw that we needed to move the B to the other side to get that into the proper side. Take and make our coefficient our coefficient matrix. So 0, 3, 5, 1, 0, -2, 4, -1, 7. Our variable matrix, A, B, and C, and our matrix B are constants, 7, 9, 17. All right, now, I'm going to pause this for just a second. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let it be writing now. We don't have a way to find the inverse of a 3 by 3 matrix by hand. So we're going to let that do it for us. Okay? We're going to take and enter matrix A and matrix B into the calculators. Okay? And go ahead and pause the video so that you can get those put into your calculator. Okay? When you're done, come back. All right, now from the home screen. So you've got your matrices entered. So go to your home screen. And you are going to enter second matrix A. Then you will hit the inverse X. That'll give you inverse A. Then you're going to do second matrix B. And you're going to hit enter. And that will give you an answer. So to show your work, A inverse B is equal to 7, 4, -1. Write that out. That is how you will show me your work from the calculator. Okay? I need to see this part here so that when you do this part here, I know what you're talking about. Okay? And then write out your answer. A equals 7, B equals 4, C equals -1. Okay? All right, and that's all you have to do on 13, 14, and 15. Just this little bit right here. This is for the advanced students. The regular classes didn't have to do 13, 14, and 15. Just one of the joys of being in advanced classes. Okay. The answer key is right here. You can see that we did get that answer key fixed for number 12. Okay, as far as I know, the rest of it all seems to be correct. If you have anything that you think might be incorrect, text me. Okay, you've got my home phone number or my cell phone number. So text me and say, is the answer to such and such problem correct? And then I can go and check it for you, and I will let you know. And if we need to make corrections on any of the other problems, then I will send out a message on Classroom and on Facebook. Okay? All right, that does it. We will see y'all tomorrow. I will not be in first period in the morning, first and second period. I'm taking Tori to the doctor. Mr. Jones will be here. Tomorrow we are doing the topic review for the test. You will have a test on. My screen just paused because it gave me a message. So I'm not sure where it cut me off. I'll just say this again. You'll be working on a test review tomorrow. Because Friday we have a test. It's just over the last 3 lessons, so it's not that much. It's a very short test review, and the answer key is on the back of the test review. All right, I will see y'all around the end of second or third, beginning of third period tomorrow. Y'all have a great night. Bye.